I've had this Canon camera for a few years now and I really like it, but it's just recently stopped working properly. It powers up okay and I can still take a photograph, but the screen is blank. Now, a very expensive repair. I think a Canon screen is about 150 quid. So I've taken a chance. I've bought this one for £35 and it came all the way from China in about 10 days. So, Phil, what have I got to lose? 35 quid. Well, before we get into the guts of the thing, it's always a good idea to take the battery out. Probably a good idea to take the memory card out too. So the first thing I have to do is take the back off. And I've got a set of these miniature cross-point screwdrivers. There are 5 teeny wee black screws. When we take them out, it's always wise to compare them and make sure they are all the same length. I already know they are because I've already had the back of it. And then get your thumbnail in and unclip it. And it's held onto the camera by a very thin electrical tape which you can just about pull out very carefully and cautiously. Then there are another 5 screws, 5 if I remember rightly. As we take them out, again, comparing lengths to make sure they go back in the right place. There's a longer one. So when I get a longer one, I take a marker pen and just put a little mark on the frame so that I know where they go back. There happen to be 2 slightly longer ones in this camera. As I said, I've taken the back off it before. One in the side there. I've got that one out already. And this piece is also held on with a little electrical tape. Now then, all the screws are out, so lift the screen and it just locates at this far side. There are 2 pegs. Then the thing is free, apart from 2 more electrical tapes which need pulling out. 1, 2. Then it is just a matter of reversing the process and putting the new screen in. The screens are very slightly different, but then this isn't a Canon screen, this is a Chinese copy. So I'll try and get it onto the locating pegs. Of course, one of them is in the wrong place. That one, so I'm just going to cut it off. It's only a little bit of plastic, so I'm going to trim it off with my trusty penknife. And then Now we live and learn. This larger block has a lift up release mechanism. So I've just pushed it down and the tape is held in firmly. The smaller one is just fed in, and it has a small hole to help me to push it into the socket. Then we fit these bits and pieces back where they belong. This one has two little lugs on the side of the tape that you can use to push the plug back into the socket. Very careful to centralise it first, of course. Then carefully seat it and put the screws back in. Then we just have this fella to put back in. A slightly more awkward thing to get at, because these components are so delicate. Get the socket and plug nicely centralised, and then you can manage to do this one with a fingernail. Now, before I put the screws in, I'm going to put the battery back in and just make sure the thing works. Hey, look at that, the screen's working. So that was a good 35 quid spent. The frame of the screen was slightly smaller than the original, so there was a certain amount of jiggery-pokery just to get it to sit right. Then I've clipped the back on the camera, and I just need to put the screws back in and away we go. Hey! Well, I'm pleased with that. I wonder how long it'll last.